Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Safia Amina Muhammad. I'm a peer support counselor for caregivers of people with disabilities. I have sons on the autism spectrum. As a mother of 5, a grandmother of 3, a wife, a daughter, a sister, and a New Jersey resident, I know all too well the impacts and the devastating effects of not having access to earned sick days. When I was a young single mother, I was my family's sole provider. I worked as a cashier for a retail chain to make ends meet. One day, my then 6-year-old son woke up feeling very sick. Immediately, I called my manager to ask if I could take the day off. He said that if I didn't come into work that day, then I shouldn't come back at all. Afraid of losing my job, I took a 2.5-hour bus ride on 2 buses to get to work on time. My son sat next to me in his kindergarten uniform. When I arrived at my job, I sat my son in an office chair at the customer service desk, and then I punched in for work. My son began vomiting in the garbage pail. My boss chastised me for bringing my child to work with me, and he demanded I leave and come back the next day. Though I was afraid of being considered insubordinate, I gathered some confidence and said, if you don't want me to infect my coworkers and customers with my son's viral infection, I'll see you in 2 days after we get checked by a doctor. Unfortunately, my story is not unique, and it is all too familiar for too many working parents. To employers who do not provide their employers earned sick days, I ask, would you want to interact with a cashier who could potentially pass along an illness? Would you want a restaurant worker with an uncontrollable sneeze serving your lunch? If you are a parent, would you want to send your child to school despite the risk of infecting classmates, teachers, and other staff? If the answer is no, then you must offer the same opportunities to your employees. In 2010, the Institute for Women's Policy Research reported that 44 million workers lacked access to paid sick days in the United States. The national average rate of coverage was 58% at that time. In New Jersey, there are approximately 3.2 private sector employees. 2 million of them have access to paid sick days, while 1.2 do not. That is 38% of New Jersey workers. But today, thanks to Governor Murphy, we will witness the signing of the New Jersey Paid Sick Leave Act. Millions of private sector workers will earn and receive paid sick time from their employers, a triumph on an emotional journey for New Jersey workers and families. Thank you to Senate Majority Leader Loretta Weinberg and Assembly Deputy Speaker Pamela Lampett, for courageously sponsoring bills that will change the lives of New Jersey workers. I also want to thank the advocates from the New Jersey Time to Care Coalition, New Jersey Working Families Alliance, and Family Values at Work, who have worked tirelessly. Yes. They have worked tirelessly to support the passing of this legislation. This law demonstrates a responsible, holistic, inclusive approach to building and improving the great state of New Jersey. We need a strong law in order to help the productivity of workers and to build a family-friendly economy that works for everyone. Thank you Governor Murphy, for keeping, yes. Thank you for keeping your promise to ensure earned sick leave for all New Jersey workers. It is my pleasure and such an honor to introduce to you Governor Phil Murphy, someone who understands the importance of enacting laws that support and protect working families. Governor Murphy.
Thank you. Great job. Why do I have to follow you? Oh, man. Are these yours? I'll get it. Thank you. Thank you. So Sophia and I go back a few months. We first met in January, meaningfully, of this year, and I just said to her, "Why do I have to follow you?" Thank you, Sophia, for sharing your story with us. One more time, let's get it up for an extraordinary honor. As you have heard, Sophia knows personally the importance of paid sick leave, and I hope that because of what we're doing together today, that no New Jersey parent will ever have to make the sorts of choices that you had to make again. I'm incredibly honored to be back in this lucky hall, at least so far, right, ladies? And may our luck continue. We're sort of a full week or so into our second 100 days, and we're starting our second 100 just as we did our first 100, which is taking action toward creating that stronger and fairer New Jersey. I am incredibly proud today to sign this long overdue law to give workers and working families throughout New Jersey the peace of mind that comes from having the benefit of paid sick leave. New Jersey today proudly joins 9 states, plus the District of Columbia, in providing the guarantee of paid sick leave. I'm tired of being 50th. I am honored to be joined by many of the legislators who helped get this bill to my desk, but perhaps none has worked harder than Assemblywoman Pam Lampett. Pam, you've had your name on this bill from the very beginning, and I am proud today to sign it into law. Congratulations must also go to Majority Leader Senator Loretta Weinberg, as well as in the Senate, she's in row 1, Linda Greenstein, for your co-sponsorship of this. Well done, Linda. Congratulations. And to the other Assembly sponsors, including Raj Mukherjee, Benji Wimberly, Coach, Shavonda Sumter, and Paul Moriarty. So let's hear it for all of the sponsors in both the Senate and the Assembly. I see in the front row Labor Commissioner Robert Acero Angelo. He's with us. Commissioner, I look forward to your efforts to ensure that this law is not just on the books and signed, but that it works for everybody in this state. Tougher moment here. I would be remiss, and I think we all would, if we didn't salute a dear friend who left us last week, who championed this bill, the late Assemblyman and our dear friend Jerry Green. God bless Jerry. Jerry's commitment to New Jersey's working families was without qualification, and I know he is celebrating from above with us here today. Let's be clear. This is not just about doing what's right, for workers and their families. This is about doing the right thing for our economy and protecting more New Jerseyans' place in that economy. We are continuing to prove, and we are obsessed to prove, that economic progress can't be made without social progress, and that social progress cannot be achieved without economic progress. I'd say that differently. I'm incredibly honored, as I know everyone here today with us is likewise, to do the right thing. This is the right thing to do. But let there be no doubt, I've also got a cold-blooded part of me as well. This is the smart thing to do. Anywhere that this has been done has increased productivity and made the economy stronger, just as equal pay does, just as funding women's health and Planned Parenthood and other steps we're taking. They are both the right thing to do, but they are just as importantly the smart thing to do. And when workers know they are valued, morale increases and turnover decreases. And now they know that taking a sick day won't mean lost income. They will continue to receive wages to help pay the rent, to buy a little more for their family, or to save for a more secure future. The up to 40 hours a year of paid sick leave will mean something different to everyone who didn't before have this core benefit that so many of us simply take for granted. For a child care worker, it can mean having time to get well so she doesn't spread her flu to the children in her care. For a restaurant worker, it can mean being able to take an hour to meet with his child's teacher. For others, especially those seeking help from domestic violence, it is time that can quite literally mean the world. There are so many people who worked so hard to make this day happen. Obviously, the legislative leadership, but also starting with the great efforts put forward by everyone at New Jersey Working Families. Let's hear it for them. The Time to Care Coalition. New Jersey Citizen Action. A group of which I'm a member, AARP of New Jersey. Let's not forget our brothers and sisters in labor, the New Jersey AFL-CIO. And the Working Families Program at the Rutgers University Center for Women and Work. And at a very personal note, I couldn't go home one more night without the First Lady, Tammy Murphy, asking me if I was going to sign this bill. So, thank you. Very personal. I must also recognize, and I just did a short video, the national leadership that the Rockefeller Family Fund has given in this push for paid sick leave. They are among a number of groups leading this charge in other states, including the National Partnership for Women and Families, the Women Effect Fund, and A Better Balance. And to all of them, we thank you. As Sophia said, for the estimated 1.2 million New Jerseyans who did not have this protection, nearly 40%, by the way, of our private sector workforce, today is when our law finally states loud and clear, you are valued. Together, we are continuing to show that New Jersey will once again proudly lead, and that we will lead proudly to make our state stronger and fairer. It is now my great honor to introduce one of the leaders in this fight from the very beginning, Assemblywoman Pamela Lampert.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everybody. I can get used to this. Two significant bills in 2 weeks. And I probably said this last week, but you know, coming after some great speakers, Sophia, thank you. Thank you for sharing your passionate personal story. I know how hard and challenging those times were, and your voice was heard. And as you can see, that when somebody stands up and somebody speaks up, good things happen. So thank you very much for sharing your personal story. To my co-sponsor in the Senate, I can't say enough about our relationship and the ability to be as effective as we have been, not only for the two bills that we did just recently, but we've co-sponsored other pieces of legislation that we've been very effective in working together. So I look forward to continuing to the next one, but I can't do it unless I've got great partnership in the Senate, and I've got a wonderful partner with Senator Loretta Weinberg, so thank you. There are so many people to thank. I would be remiss if I did not thank, the Speaker, Craig Coughlin, but I would be remiss if I did not thank Assemblyman Joe Egan. Under some personal situations, he came forward and he held the committee hearing. He did it with dignity. He did it with a conscious mind. And I want to thank him and the Labor Committee, the members on the Labor Committee, because of their due diligence on sitting through a very lengthy hearing and their commitment to making sure that my I's were dotted and my T's were crossed. So thank you to Assemblyman Joe Egan. And like I said before last week, I don't do this alone. I've got my fellow assembly members here, and I got my loudest cheerleader here, Assemblywoman Patricia Egan-Jones. But if the assembly members could stand to be recognized, because it's with your work and your commitment and your constant, Raj, please stand. And I very much appreciate their due diligence on this as well, because what happens in the caucus room is that we do challenge each other. We do ask, really deliberative questions. And it is with that sort of deliberative process that you end up with the piece of legislation that we have here today. To the advocates, again, your work, your commitment to the working people of New Jersey is so heartfelt and so strong, and I could not have done this without each and every one of you. We know that the spokesperson was Dina. My husband wanted to know what that phone number was every time that phone number was calling my phone. Like, why is somebody calling you, Pam, at 9 o'clock at night? I'm trying to tell you. Anyway, but thank you very much. To Ray Woods. We as legislators are surrounded by great staff, and Ray Woods, who is my policy director, is somebody who was very steadfast. This bill had a constant moving sort of motion going to it, and if it wasn't for him keeping me on that page, on that specific issue, I don't know where I would be. But if everybody could give Ray Woods a round of applause, I would truly appreciate it. For the working people of New Jersey, this is your day. This is your moment. This is your ability to say that we believe in you, we want to support you, we care about you. And for the people who aren't living in New Jersey, who now realize that pay equity is here, that earned sick leave is here, come on in. We've got many places for you to come and enjoy. Come live in our communities, come work in our businesses. We welcome you to come here to the state of New Jersey, where you realize that we are the state of New Jersey that embraces working class families. So we welcome you. Phil Gregory said to me last week, I've never seen you smile so much, Pam, but I think I'm smiling as much today, Phil, because to really work towards this piece of legislation that really can significantly improve the quality of life for people is really something that I tell people that I shouldn't say this publicly, but I'm going to do it. I may not solve your property tax problems, but quality of life issues, I'm your legislator. I'm your go-to legislator.
Well said.
So for the businesses, I would really truly be remiss if I did not thank the lobbyists that represent our business community. They really had a seat at our table. They came, they spoke to us, they provided tangible information that really helped to craft this piece of legislation that I believe that a year from now we will have businesses turn to us and say to us, it improved morale, improved outcomes, improved economic retention. Our businesses are thriving here in New Jersey, and I look forward to them coming to me a year from now and providing me that update, and I will denote it on my calendar to seek them out and reach out to them to get that sort of feedback as well. But really, the business community, I really applaud you for really coming to the table, because you really represented your constituents well, and I believe that you will see that in this legislation. So with that said, I'm going to close out by just saying thank you. There are special people who are not here with me today, but they're always in my heart, and they are my major drivers that help me to continue to do this, because I don't do this alone. I've got a wonderful husband, I've got wonderful children, I've got a wonderful support network where I work, and they allow me this opportunity to do this for the people of New Jersey. So thank you.
Well done. Love that line, by the way. You know, Pam makes a fair point, and obviously what we're doing today feeds into this narrative. We had dinner a couple of nights ago with about 30 chief executives, and we talked not just about the hard math of doing business in New Jersey, and by the way, we are committed to breaking the back of the property tax reality in this state, which doesn't work for almost anybody you'd ask. But this notion of being, you get what you pay for in this state, is one that's a big deal. So if you value workers and working families, if you value women's health care, if you value the respect for the environment and signing common sense gun safety laws and having safer communities because you've got enlightened immigration notions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you are a more welcoming place for the business community. And we are absolutely committed not just to make the hard math work, but to make the environment not just value, but values in this state. We want to lead the American class, and we're on our way. I don't dare step foot in this room without our next speaker, our next and final speaker. We're on a winning streak. We both were talking backstage. We want to keep this one going. But we wouldn't be the state that's finally going in that direction of doing the right thing and doing the smart thing without her extraordinary leadership. My honor, as always, to have her with us, the Senate Majority Leader, Senator Loretta Weinberg. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You good?
Yes. They brought me a stool this time so I can see over the sign. Thank you very much. You know, this is the trifecta: women's health, pay equity, and now earned sick leave. First of all, to the advocates. I always kind of laugh to myself when the press describes these as the easy things. They didn't live through it the last 4 years, or maybe they lived through it from afar. But the advocates, we argued, we disagreed, we sometimes came at this from very, very different sides, but we got together. We have a bill, and it's about to become law. So please, will you all stand up, all of the Time to Care Coalition, the Working Families, Citizen Action, AARP. We could not have done it without you. To Pam Lampett, this, we kind of divided up some of the workload of pay equity and of this bill, and she really got the harder part. I was very clever. I knew what I was, I knew what I was handing off. This was a tough bill to negotiate. To take into consideration legitimate business concerns, which I think we did take into consideration, as well as to keep our collective eyes on the goal of making sure that all of those New Jersey workers who deserve it have earned sick leave for all the very reasons that Governor Murphy and Pam outlined. It's good for the environment. It is good for the businesses themselves. It is good for all of our collective health care. So that when people are sick, they can stay home. And Pam at last week's, and yes, Governor Murphy, I hope we continue meeting like this for a long time to come. This room has become a very happy place for us and for the working families of New Jersey, because we have a governor who some people might think it's easy, but first of all, he had to get there. And second of all, he had to be a person, a governor who understood the importance of what we are doing here today and why all of these bills, and particularly this one, were necessary in order to get our state moving in the right direction. So thank you, Governor Murphy. Thank you for understanding so that we didn't have to try to go through some of the gyrations that took place over the last number of years. But Pam, and I know your policy director and my legislative director, Shane Mitchell, became a couple during this as they would translate back and forth the issues. But this really was a tough bill to negotiate, and Pam was the leader of it. She was practical, sometimes a little more practical than I might have liked to have been, but I needed that kind of anchor. And so thank you for taking on the harder job of this trifecta. I'm confessing publicly to that. I just want to say thank you to everyone. You know, we are privileged to be in a position, we who are elected officials and the chief executive of the state of New Jersey, we are privileged to be in a position where we can actually do something that affects the quality of life every single day for every one of our citizens. And I'm taking up where Pam left off last time. It is an honor to be able to do this on behalf of all of the people we represent. And when I know that a worker in a fast food restaurant or a teacher in a daycare center, any of the other people this affects, will be able to lead a life that contributes to the life of New Jersey, I'm thankful to all of you and to be in the position that we can actually do this. And Pam talked about her mom. I'm going to talk about my husband, who died of cancer 19 years ago. And I can still cry. And if I didn't have the ability then to be at his bedside when not only I wanted to, but when I was needed, to be his advocate and to be his comfort, if that lesson didn't teach me anything, it stayed with me for 19 years, and that's why I'm here today. So thank you very much.
Congratulations. Wow. There is literally nothing left to say. Let's sign this baby.
Karen, you still there?